Yo, 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 guys, it's Old Man G. I'm back again. I'm back. And I'm joined by Roy and Ari from Rosanari TV. Is that correct?
Rosanari TV.
Rosanari TV. Thank you. I'm brilliant, guys. Links in the description to the channel. Please head down and subscribe. But guys, how are you doing?
Excellent. Thank you.
Doing very well. That's a cool intro, by the way. That just gave us some ideas. I'm sure Roy is thinking about it as well.
Right. Yeah. That was a cool intro.
Appreciate it, guys. So remember, guys, if you remember watching, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter, we're on X, and smash that notification button for latest Manchester United news. Big game. This is your AC Milan versus Manchester United Europa League match review. And by the way, guys, for those who are watching, please get some questions in if you like. Shout out to Damien Perez in the comments. If you want to get some questions to the panel, it goes a long way. Really appreciate it. But yes, this is a big game. Obviously, 1-1 in the first leg, which from a United point of view was quite bad on our part. So I'm going to leave it to the guests. Like, before we get into the stuff and show, how did you feel about the first leg? How you thought the Milan played? Were you surprised? What were your thoughts on it?
Roy, you want to take it?
All right, yeah, I'll go. Okay, so I, as an AC Milan fan, first of all, thank you very much for having us here, G. Really much appreciated, and we're looking forward for this clash, the second round. But so I, as an AC Milan fan, I got to say I was pleasantly surprised by AC Milan's performance. I'm aware that Manchester United had a lot of players that were out, but the same thing for AC Milan. I had 3 predictions, and none of my predictions came true. I had to predict my 3 predictions were that either it was going to be an extremely open game, or a cagey match, or Manchester United was going to dominate possession. And I didn't expect AC Milan to hold the ball so well. So that was a good surprise for me. But the game overall was a pretty close game. It could have gone either way. I think Milan had the edge there. They had more shots and more opportunities, and maybe Milan even played better on the day. I'm not counting Manchester United out at all. Manchester United is one of the biggest clubs in the world. They have a lot of tradition, have a lot of they know how to win games. So I'm not really taking that much out of the first leg. Each game is its own game. The second game could be completely different. But yes, I was pretty happy with how that game went for Milan. And right now we have one foot in the next round. So I'm pretty happy about that. But we'll see what happens on Thursday.
Yeah, man, similar feelings. I did not expect Milan to perform that well, especially since these guys are young, and pretty much our entire squad, except for Zlatan, but that doesn't count because Zlatan wasn't playing anyway. Pretty much our entire squad, this was, considering the history and stature of the clubs, this was the biggest game they were playing in their entire career, because I'm not sure if you know or not, Milan is one of the youngest squads in Europe right now. We're a resurgent side, and of course it's evident that we have not been in the Champions League for a while, so pretty much all of these guys, this was one of the biggest clubs that they had ever faced. I was expecting nerves to come in, and you're also aware of our injury crisis, and because of that, I was not very hopeful of this game, and it gave me one of the biggest confidence boosts that I needed in terms of the slump that Milan has been in 2021.
Fair enough. I mean, and as a United fan, obviously in this game, maybe I'm slightly different from other Manchester United fans. Now, when I realize, and now I obviously appreciate that Milan had tons of injuries, the players that were available for Manchester United, that given their attributes, I had a feeling that we were going to struggle, specifically in the midfield area. The defense area, I thought we weren't going to be too bad. And on the night, we weren't. Yes, Milan obviously ran at us, but I don't think we were made a fool out of, if that makes any sense, compared to some trains. But I think the real key thing for me that I anticipated was the lack of creativity and movement that was going to be in that midfield, and the fact that we were going to hand the initiative over to Milan. Because unfortunately, McTominay and Matic were there. Matic and Arsenal has not really had a very good season, and McTominay, they don't really create anymore, which basically left Bruno Fernandes to be isolated. The fullbacks in terms of Telles and Wan-Bissaka are not really. Telles has been good going forward, but for some reason he's just been overpassed by Luke Shaw. So essentially, what I'm getting at is that the creativity in the Manchester United side of the players out wasn't actually there. And that's almost contrast to what we saw against Manchester City when we saw certain key players like Rashford and Luke Shaw, who we'll get to in a second, might be back, giving that incentive, giving that creativity, giving that drive to come forward, and helping the likes of Bruno Fernandes, for example, to get into the game. So I'm not surprised. I'm also not surprised at the fact that we yet again conceded a goal from a set piece in the last minute of the game, something that we've seen so many times from Manchester United. And I think that if Milan are going to take something going into this game, is that they can cause Manchester United problems from set piece deliveries, from corners, etc., and can really harm them. So that's my perspective as a United fan. Were you just before we move on? Were you? I'll make this is a side comment. Like how were you impressed by the Ahmad guy? Because he obviously was his first kind of proper start for Manchester United, and he obviously scored that goal. I know that probably wasn't, I went against the one I played, but do you see anything that made you think that, oh, this guy's got potential, looks good?
Well, so I'll go. I have tons of friends who are Manchester United fans because I was growing up and started getting into football around the mid 2000s, and that was the time where a lot of people who were getting into football were inclining towards Manchester United. It's still the most popular club in the world, but at that point they were also winning big. Right. So I have a lot of United fans, friends who are fans. I called one of them up. I was just talking to him a couple of weeks ago, and he mentioned this guy from Atalanta. I wasn't even aware that this transfer had happened. And I was like, oh, wow, Atalanta. Let me look at some of his highlights. I looked at it. I looked at how good he was with his close control dribbling. And I was like, I'm not sure if this is just the YouTube highlights that are creating a disillusion, or if this guy is actually very good. But if his dribbling is actually the way the YouTube highlights are portraying them to be, then this is a very creative guy. And so I was actually looking forward to seeing him. Unfortunately, he played a little better than I had imagined with that header, which he anticipated Donnarumma's position greatly. That little chip from his head. I think you guys have a talent on your hands. Now, whether this wonder kid proves to be a wonder kid or not, that only depends on.
I think what surprised me about that goal was just the fact that how small he is, and to just get that lead
versus our defender who was marking him, which was at least like 4 or 5 inches on him, and he completely rattled him.
Well, I want to say one quick thing about what's his name, Ahmad Diallo.
Ahmad Diallo or Diallo.
So. Yeah, that was his debut in Europe. I heard. Is that correct? Well, yes, I mean, scoring on your debut against AC Milan is a huge feature. So that's really excellent for him. I really liked the way he cut in through Diallo and Tomori and connected with Bruno Fernandes' pass. That was a really nice piece of play when he cut through the lines and then found himself open for that header. The guy has definitely got a lot of potential, and I think Manchester United did a good piece of investment with him.
Before we move on to the main event, Damien Perez says, is it in Milan's best interest to get knocked out now and focus on the league, or is the league over?
The reason we're laughing is because we've had a lot of heated debates on our channel, which consists of 4 guys. 2 of them regarding this exact question. 2 of the guys, including me, are on one side, and Roy and the other guy is on the other side. So we have very differing opinions. I'll go first. I will say Mr. Damien, absolutely. I do not want to stay in the Europa League for too long because I believe that Milan is going to, Milan at this moment, which is a thin squad and a thin injury-struck squad, at this moment considering those variables, is going to only lose more than they have to win if they go deeper in the Europa League. Especially since Milan now, it didn't look like it for the first half of the season. It looked like we're cruising towards that top 4 solidification and back into the Champions League. Now, after the January and February slump of 2021, Milan is 6 points off of 6th place. Still in second, but 6 points behind. That's 2 games, 2 losses.
Yeah.
And because of all those factors, I am getting very skeptical of staying in the Europa League, and hence I hate to say this, but I want to respectfully get out of this tournament so we can focus on getting those top 4 spots, because the top 4 securing is easier than going and winning the Europa League, something that you guys did a couple of years ago when you were maybe in 6th place. But that doesn't happen very often, right? That's not going to happen every time that you're in 5th or 6th place.
So, Ari, what you're saying on this preview is that you'd be happy if United knocked out Milan out of the
Here's what I'll say. I'll be happy. I don't want Milan to lose. So I'll be happy if it's a 2-2 and you guys go through on away goals.
Okay. Roy, do you have any similar perspective, or is it different?
No, it's actually well, I understand what Ari is saying, and there is a lot of truth in the fact that AC Milan's depth isn't amazing. But I think my perspective is more, Milan is a team that has made its history in Europe, and even though this is not the Champions League, this is like the minor leagues, of the Champions League. Milan needs a way to get back in the Champions League, and having them perform in the UEFA Cup is a good way to see if these players are the right players to then see if they can perform next year in the Champions League if they make it. So I am very for the UEFA, the Europa League, and I would like to see Milan go all the way. I would love to see Milan win it, actually.
Fair enough. Right, let's get into the main event just briefly. And so I want to start off with you guys and what you think the predicted starting 11 for AC Milan is going to be. Now, obviously, we know that Zlatan looks like it's going to be back, as well as a few other players. So how do you see AC Milan setting up against Manchester United this time around?
Roy, you want to take it?
The starting lineup. So I think one of the big differences that you're going to see this time around is definitely Theo Hernandez is probably going to be starting. I think. If they're not thinking about turnover, that might be something they're thinking of. But that is going to be a different offensive weapon that we're going to have, a very more effective weapon that we're going to have that, Man U hasn't seen yet. And maybe Çalhanoğlu is going to be back in the mix. So it might be almost the same formation. We're probably not going to get Calabria on the right. Calabria, actually, I think he got a little bit an injury in that game. So we might have either Kalulu or Diallo on the right. The defense, we had some issues there. Probably Tomori is playing. On the weekend, we didn't have either Gabbia or Chiara Romagnoli. I'm not sure who the other central defender is going to be. The midfield is going to be Kessie and Tonali, most likely, just like or Kessie and Mete. It depends on how the coach. If the coach wants to protect the lead, if the coach wants to be a little bit more adventurous, he's going to put in Tonali. The striker, that's the thing. Ibrahimovic is training with the team right now. I don't think he's going to start. I think he's going to come in the second half. So I don't know who this. It might be Leao, which is a good for you guys if Leao is the striker.
Yeah. I think I won't go with the whole lineup, but I will mention if Ibra starts or if Ibra plays the majority of the game. I do believe that your center backs, if Harry Maguire and Lindelof are playing, they have the tendency to be bullied by Ibrahimovic. And this is not putting Maguire down. I'm sure most center backs in Europe have the tendency to be bullied by Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is someone who can bully a lot of players, regardless of their stature or regardless of how good they are. And you already know that Maguire is a little low on confidence, with the United fan base bashing him, putting that 82 million price tag and a big question mark right next to that 82 million on almost every single post that you see about Maguire, right? And that little post that he hit in the first leg didn't help his case at all. So I think with those...
Sorry, Andrew, do you think that was a contender for miss of the season? Is that a potential contender?
Can I
much likely.
Sorry, Ari. Can I just interrupt?
Go ahead.
Just one quick little thing about that miss. I don't want to give Maguire too much shit for that miss.
Okay.
Because if you actually look at the highlights, Donnarumma touched the ball, and the trajectory of the ball slightly moved, and it went right. Instead of landing on his foot, it landed on his shin.
Okay.
But if Donnarumma wouldn't have touched that ball, most likely Maguire would have scored
it.
Well, the reason you don't help Maguire's case is because this is not a one-off. Maguire has given us... There's compilations of Maguire doing stuff that is either haphazard, a little stupid. So I believe if Zlatan plays, Zlatan will 100% bully one or two of your center backs, and has a lot of chances to not necessarily score a goal himself, but because of that bullying, create a very crucial space for one of his strike partners or one of the Milan midfielders to slot one in.
Yeah.
Haslam, who's a good mate of mine, says, "Hi guys, big match. Who do you guys think should play between Moretti and Tonali? Moretti played great versus United, and Tonali was quality versus Verona. Forza Milan."
Really, if we're trying to go for the win, it has to be, so Tonali Mete and Kessie are both a little bit on the defensive side. There's no creativity between Mete and Kessie. But when you're talking Kessie and Tonali, we're adding a little bit of the adventurous creativity on the side. So I believe if our manager really wants to go to the next round of the Europa League, he's going to play Tonali at least for the first half, and then maybe switch Mete in if we're trying to protect either a lead or the away goals, whatever. Yeah.
Fair enough. One just have a question here from Damien again. Thoughts on tomorrow this season since he came in?
Bellissimo. He ain't going back to Chelsea. He ain't going back.
Tomori is excellent.
Frank Lampard made a big mistake.
Yeah, it's very, very rarely defenders from different leagues come into Serie A and have such an immediate impact.
Instantly.
Yeah, it's very rare. So I really hope AC Milan buys the player, and because he's quality.
Is there buy clause on his loan?
Yes, it's 28 million.
Oh, come on.
Option to buy, right?
Option
and it's a pretty. It's a pretty good price.
It's a very good price. I mean, again, they got Maguire for 82. I whenever I'm talking about good deals, I usually put Maguire's on the other side to make my argument sound better.
I mean, in defense to Harry Maguire, before we defense to him, guy, like he is pretty much United's only fit centre back, because pretty much all the other centre backs either get injuries or recurrent injuries every so often. Even Lindelof has a back injury, so he seems to be the only one that seems to be physically fit. So he plays. I guess I give it to him.
Got that.
So how do you think that Milan will actually set up before obviously go on to the Manchester United side? And what do you see as the threats what do you see as the major threats for Milan from the United side? Go on.
Yeah, I'll go real quick, Arvin. So I think Milan will set up with the usual 4-2-3-1. If Krunic plays, it'll be more like a 4-3-3 kind of thing. I honestly, it's hard. I totally botched the prediction last time, so I'm probably going to botch a prediction this time too. Manchester United is a great team. Okay, so if we think that this is going to be a walk in the park, we're absolutely nuts. This is not going to be a walk in the park. Milan is going to go in this game. They're probably going to take it very seriously. If they have the intention of going through. So I think Milan is going to be a little bit careful how they mark the players. And it also depends on which player from Manchester United is back. So I honestly can't tell you what this game is going to look like because I totally botched it last time. Yeah, go ahead.
The only part of the setup that I'm concerned about, and I think which our manager is probably concerned about if he wants to go for the win, is the zonal marking around the Bruno Fernandes area, which drills down to our double pivot, which comes back to our previous question, whether Kessie and Mete are playing or Kessie and Tonali are playing. I feel like if there is a good, nicely marked zonal area around Bruno Fernandes where he does not get enough space, which we also tried to do in the first leg, by the way. He got away with that assist, but in a lot of times where Bruno Fernandes was getting the ball, someone was watching him and running at him to press him. So if that keeps happening, and if that happens effectively throughout the 90 minutes, then Milan has the potential to come out on top if we basically choke or suffocate Bruno Fernandes out.
Fair enough, fair enough. Before I get into how I think Manchester United's going to line up, just the guys posting, thank you so much for guys who are watching. Remember to check out these guys' channel, links in the description, subscribe to the channels below. Remember to leave a like on the video as well, and I will get to your questions as I can. We just keep the show going by. We'll address those questions. So if we're not addressing them, we will definitely do them. So just quickly on obviously Manchester United, so just maybe to give you guys what to expect, whether rightly or wrongly. I think the biggest thing for Manchester United is that it certainly looks that Pogba, Cavani, and Van der Beek are going to be back. They're in training. It looks like they're being fit. Strong reinforcements that are going to be coming back into the side, especially into that midfield. As I told you guys, that was pretty much dead during that. I think we even left Fred on the bench. I think it was McTominay, Matic, and Bruno. So you can imagine the options that's going to give Manchester United in that area, which I think is going to be quite important. I would anticipate that if any one of those, you're not going to see Matic in that midfield. If any one of those two midfielders is fit, you're not going to see Matic in that midfield. You probably, if Pogba's fit, he's going to play. I think it's as simple as that. Like I think if he's,
can I ask you really fast? Is Pogba? Did Pogba play on the weekend?
No, he didn't.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No. So he's just. I think it was a surprise to me because I actually thought that he was going to probably be fit after the international break. But according to United and Ollie in the injury updates and the training videos, like he's back training with the first team squad. And I think he has been since Monday. So 3 days of light training, ready fit. I think it'll be a touch and go. But the thing about Ollie is that he does have his favourites, and he does like Pogba. And much like we saw at the weekend with Rashford, where Rashford was an injury, he still brought him back. I think if Pogba can play and kick a ball, Pogba's probably going to go back into that team somehow. The question is whether he plays him like he's done sporadically for some reason on the left wing, or whether he brings him into the midfield. Me thinks he probably, because we tend to play 4-2-3-1 regardless, he'll probably bring him into the midfield, and you'll probably get a midfield of McTominay, Pogba, and Bruno Fernandes. Rashford looks like he's back as well. I think he played. Did Rashford play? Yes, No, he didn't. Rashford didn't play in the first league against AC Milan. It was Greenwood, Daniel James, and Martial. So sorry, yeah. So that's so. So I imagine that both Rashford and Luke Shaw, who didn't play in that game, I think although Luke Shaw came on, they'll probably start. So Rashford will probably go on the left. Cavani's back. I think Cavani will probably start ahead of Martial if he can kick a ball. And then right-wise, he probably will start with Daniel James, I would imagine, again on that side. Possibly maybe Mason. Actually, I say probably Mason Greenwood, to be honest. So already you're kind of seeing... despite me saying that, doesn't it mean that I think that Manchester United are going to be confident to win? What I do think, though, is that midfield creativity, and the creativity certainly that was lost in the previous game, I think you'll see more of that in this game.
Yep.
And I think that I don't think you're going to see Lindelof in his team either. I think Eric Bailly is going to be playing alongside Harry Maguire, and I think that if we can get control of the ball, the thing I have an issue with if Zlatan plays that I noticed from the half side of United is that the thing with Zlatan, great finisher, great in the box, but, and I don't know whether you guys noticed it when he plays for AC Milan, but halfway through the season at United, what we found is that teams didn't just press us because they knew that they didn't have to fear Zlatan running in behind the defenders. So you could just press up high in the pitch because Zlatan, good control in the box, good finisher, but he's not particularly slow. He's not going to make those runs. And so a part of me thinks that if you play Bailly and Maguire together and we have more midfield control in this game, we can actually push Milan back if Zlatan does start. But those are just my thoughts. I don't know whether you guys noticed that about Zlatan's play, but that's just how I see United moving up. Any thoughts about that, or is that a...
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree about Zlatan. Of course, a lot of that comes down to how we utilize the pace on our wings, right? And that really comes into play over here. But what I'm really excited to see is, again, this, if Cavani comes back and Pogba comes back, this is really going to be a litmus test for Milan's defense. We've been moving around our center back pairing a lot this season, and I believe two of our main center backs are injured right now. So this game is really, especially with the pace available to United, this game is really going to come down to Milan's defense being able to hold and then produce counterattacks. And then when that counterattacks comes in, as you said, Zlatan's not really the guy who's going to run in behind. Zlatan can orchestrate a counterattack maybe, but someone else, particularly on the wings, is going to have to be able to manage that sort of situation.
Yeah, exactly. It's been the wingers that have been taking care of the counterattacks because we do have a lot of firepower on the wings. But Zlatan has been very good at doing those one-touch layoffs, long ball, one-touch layoff to the side.
He drops back a lot. You see Zlatan for a good half an hour. If he's playing 90 minutes, you will see him for a good half an hour, not even close to the opposition box. He drops back, and because he has great hold-up play abilities, which not many Milan players up front do. He'll see a gap over there, and he'll see something needs to be unlocked in the midfield, and he'll really happily drop back and try to orchestrate from the midfield rather than being the guy who every cross is being thrown to.
Yeah. Now I want to say, going to your players that you mentioned, Pogba, Cavani, Rashford, Shaw, like these are very good players. These are players that make a big difference. So if these players come back, the only thing that I'm kind of I'm saying this obviously very respectfully. The one thing that I'm kind of hoping for is that Pogba maybe doesn't have match fitness, because if Pogba is match fit, we're dealing with one of the best midfielders on the planet.
Yep.
So. And Cavani also, if he's match fit, it's going to be very hard to stop him.
Cavani and Bruno, that's going to be the biggest test Milan has faced in a long time.
Yeah, that's a very tough spine. Pogba, Bruno, Cavani, and then you have that speed of Rashford coming from the side. If Rashford is playing, so Milan has a lot to deal with. We're not going into this game thinking that this is a done deal.
Fair enough. Thanks for your comments. Just quickly, just going through some of the questions in the live chat. Or Abdullah says, what do you think of Diallo in Serie A?
Roy, go ahead.
Okay, so Diallo has had more positive games than negative games. Unfortunately, his last game was quite negative. He had a very poor performance in his last game, but against Manchester United, he had an excellent game, I thought. And before the Manchester United game, he had an excellent game against Verona, where he scored a banger of a goal. And then before that, he's been in and out because Theo Hernandez and Calabria have really been hogging those two positions, and they've been absolutely fantastic. But Dalot, so far, he's been, I would give him a pretty good rating so far for what he's meant to do in the team.
I would too, but I don't think we redeem him.
Fair. Just like that.
Because one of the best things he offers is the versatility. And the fact that he can play as a right and a left fullback is really helpful. But Milan already has two guys who can play on the right and one guy on the left. So if we can just get and that guy who plays on the left really needs help with defensive abilities, really needs a backup that's good at defense. So if Milan and Milan's director now, Maldini, who's a legend of the club, has been making some tremendous decisions in terms of acquiring players, and his partnership with Moncada, our chief scout, has been really, I think they're going to find a cheap player for that left side that can offer more than Dalot can, because as Roy said, Dalot is, he's given us more good performances than bad, but he hasn't given me something that tells me, hey, I want this guy from United, especially considering, I don't know what the price tag is, but if you're buying a guy from the EPL, especially from United, it might be higher than our alternative options that we could pick up from some teams, Primavera or the young squads.
That's fair. And to be honest, Aaron Wan-Bissaka needs competition. And while I agree with Dalot, that there is certainly better there, I don't think that the Manchester United are going to be going out buying a right back in the summer anytime soon. So I almost feel like the situation will probably just end with Dalot going back to Manchester United competing with Wan-Bissaka. Hazem says, question both sides. Which return of injured players will be more crucial? United's Rashford, Pogba, Cavani, or Milan's Ibra, Rebic, Theo, Hakan, and Benacer?
Oh, good question.
Okay, I'll go first. My answer is going to be a little bit quick, to be honest with you. It's hard to say because Benacer hasn't played for a long time. So coming in right away against Manchester United, I don't think he would have such a great impact, to be honest with you. Hakan had a few minutes on the weekend. He also comes in from 3 weeks of inactivity. Maybe he could give a little bit more of this game. Theo is good. He's ready. He had an excellent game. Even though he made a terrible mistake, he had an excellent game. Rebic is good. We need Rebic as a option, and I think he's available. Ibra, he's been out for a long time, for a few weeks. I can't tell. As I was saying earlier, my Pogba and Cavani, I hope they're not match fit. Rashford is match fit. He's definitely going to be create some problems.
I think if all of these players return, it's more valuable for United than it is for Milan, because Benacer already was out. He came back and got injured within 15 minutes. So there's no way that our coach is risking him in a potentially very high tempo game like that of United's. So I'm pretty much ruling out Benacer playing a lot of minutes. So it comes down to Hakan, Theo, Rebic, Ibra. Ibra is a big one. And Hakan's a big one because he needs, but Hakan's been really out of form lately, out of his creative form. Whereas the Pogba, Rashford, and Cavani, arrivals definitely look to me more enticing than Milan's, just because that list of 5 is not really truly indicative of what we're actually getting back. We're not actually getting all of them back in full fitness at all.
That's the thing.
It's far from that. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the key. And I would even echo with the United thing, is that it is comes to fitness. I mean, if you have Rashford, obviously has got a bit of match fit, although he's even on the weekend, he still looked like he was playing with an injury. But if you got a Pogba and a Cavani and a Rashford that were playing at sort of fitness, then I think that yes, I think that would definitely. I think the advantage would be United, especially. I think the thing with Pogba, certainly we've seen in Manchester United season, it's not even so much just what he does in the midfield in terms of carrying the ball, being able to actually create. He's a very good creative pass to the ball. But just the moments of brilliance, the individual moments of brilliance that we've seen where, you know, I don't know whether you watch much of the EPL, but his goal against his finish against West Ham, I think his finish against Fulham as well. These just clutch goals, especially against teams, and we struggled, to be honest, over the last few months against teams who have a low block to create something and then to sort of just score a spectacular goal. That's what Pogba can give you. So I think if you get a thick Pogba, I think that certainly makes a difference. And I think if you have a Rashford who has a bit of intelligence, and also I think the fact that one of the things that I think that I obviously appreciate with Zlatan is the idea of a proper number 9. Cavani is really United's only proper number 9. Martial and Rashford aren't really number 9s in the sense that their best positions more on inside forwards. And so even in the Milan game, you found the likes of Greenwood, the likes of Martial, even, well, Ahmed's a winger, but certainly Greenwood and Martial, they tended to try and drift out wide and then come inside. They weren't really present in the box. And so if you're wanting to create chances, well, there's no one really in the box to actually pass or create to. And so I think with Cavani, you at the very least have a focal point and someone who's very hardworking, a very good professional. And
he defends too.
And yes, for just seeing him this season, the fact that the fact that he tracks back so far, he clears the ball. I mean, I generally think that if Cavani's in that, we don't concede. We don't actually concede.
Cavani is a box. Cavani is a box-to-box striker.
No, that is my way of putting it. That is my personal favorite attribute of not just a striker, but anyone who plays up front. If they can contribute to your own half, to the defensive requirements, especially in the game of today where counter-attacking football and pace is just used so much more than it was in the earlier days. That's my favorite trait of any guy who plays in the final third. If he can give me a shift in our own half, I will let go of a lot of their shortcomings just because of that.
I'm going to just quickly address this with Dame, because I know it says 2 Milan fans, but this needs to be it needs to be a preservation of this away record form, and that it's away in the league. Our away form in Europe, we lost to RB Leipzig and we lost to Istanbul away. So I'd presuppose with the fact that it's the league, not necessarily in Europe. But I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
This is actually scary, not because of United stat, but because of the same stat on Milan's side. Milan's home record in 2021 has been absolute shit. Put it in for the lack of a better word, and Roy would agree to that. So both of these things combined are just a very big headache. The fact that United is doing well away, and the fact that Milan at home has just been pretty awful lately.
Yeah, well, the numbers don't lie.
Yeah. Yep.
Final question before we move on to combine. Should Kalulu start ahead of Diallo at right back to keep it safe defensively?
No, sir, none of them. It's our boy Davide Calabria, if he is fit, and I don't know if he's fully, because he missed the last game. If Davide Calabria is fit, that he is the number 1 choice, hands down. I'm not sure if he's fit, Roy, Davide, to come back for United.
Yeah, it is not. They haven't determined that yet, so they will probably know tomorrow.
Not, then I would test out Kalulu, because Kalulu hasn't gotten much playing time lately, and I want to see more from him. So yeah, I would like to see Kalulu. But on the flip side, Dalot actually had a very good performance against Manchester United. Maybe it's the mental impact that you have something to prove, because you're playing for both of these clubs, and you're potentially having insinuating a battle between these two clubs to hire you. So just because of that mental impact, I would say Dalot has a very good opportunity to provide us a good performance. So it's a tough call. I'd go for Kalulu.
Unfortunately, both Kalulu and Dalot are 20 years old, so they are so young. And if they're going to have to deal with Rashford, it's going to be a big game for them.
It's going to be a problem for either, but I think Kalulu handles it better just because of the pace. Kalulu has a really good acceleration to him that Diallo doesn't have.
Kalulu is definitely more defensive for sure.
Cool, right. Penultimate, so combined 11. Now, this is where things get very interesting, and I'm going to just quickly share screen. I usually use this called Formation Creator, so check it out.
All right.
So first and foremost, are we going for a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, 4 diamond? What do you think the formation should be here?
Well, both teams play 4-2-3-1, so it would be wrong if we didn't pick that formation.
Yeah, let's go with 4-2-3-1.
Okay, right. So, what obviously we'll go by is everyone that we know is available, who's fit, who's ready to play. So everyone that we discussed is basically fit. So those are really only rules. You have to be fit and available to play this game. That's basically, and then obviously current form and what have, and then current form, not necessarily form last season or season before, but current form.
Yeah.
That's really only 2 things. So, goalkeeping wise, now David De Gea. Oh no, David De Gea is part of the squad, I think. So, but it's probably going to be Henderson. But keeper, who goes in?
It has to be our guy. Our guy is the prodigy to Buffon. He is, at least I mark him as one of the future greatest goalkeepers of all time. He is 22 years of age and has had almost 200 appearances for Milan. He is absolutely, it's astonishing how good he is in the air, and while he's so tall, how quickly he can get to the ground. David De Gea in the earlier parts of his career was, almost set to be a United legend until he started, giving us those highlights where the ball's going between his legs, and he's made way too many errors that contribute to a compilation of David De Gea blunders for me to not pick Donnarumma.
Yeah, same here. I mean, Donnarumma is Italy's first choice keeper. It already looks like he's going to become the next, Buffon, so to speak.
Is this, by the way, is this true?
He might as well be with Raiola as his agent.
Let me just add, he's a Raiola client, and as a United fan, how difficult it is to deal with those players. Donnarumma, though, does want to stay in Milan. He has stated that. It's just the fact that now he wants 10 million, and he's just keep in mind he's 22 years old. He wants 10 million, and here's the part that's really annoying. You actually can't give an argument against Donnarumma. He's that good. It's tough. It's tough to fight that 10 million. Maybe Roy has another opinion, but of course we're going to fight it. We're going to try and bring him down. But with other players asking for more money, there's an argument. Hey, you're not there yet. But with Donnarumma, he's single-handedly saved so many games for us that it's tough to even argue against the 10 million ask that he is putting forward.
Fair enough. I mean, obviously I'm outnumbered already, but even then, it's difficult to really make an argument for I mean, I don't think De Gea and Henderson have been as bad as certainly not Henderson. He's been obviously a Europa League keeper, and his distribution is better. So, but I think you're just right. Just with the consistency and where AC Milan are with Donnarumma, I think that you just got to put him in. I'd have no qualms putting him in as the number 1 keeper. So I'll just get that there. Okay. Right. Now, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Right. So do you want to do left back and right back, or the centre back pairing work better?
Let's do the centre back pairing first.
Okay.
Okay.
I would. The only centre back that I feel like should go here is Eric Bailly. Everyone else, I can even give you the other.
I would say, I'd say both United and Milan both are in a position where they don't take both the pairings or both the positions here. I think it goes maybe Eric Bailly and either Tomori or Kier. Who are you going with?
Well, because of the premise was fitness, I would say Tomori, right?
Tomori, true. Tomori.
Tomori.
Our gift from Chelsea, Tomori. and by
So
just
Maguire, and Tomori, and by the edge of Tomori. Okay.
if it was Maguire, though, then it would definitely be the Milan center back.
Maguire is going to score a hat trick tomorrow.
If Maguire scores tomorrow, the joke's really going to be on.
This is the thing. This is when things get clipped. You know, oh, bye. He does it, and then he scores a head. He actually scores the goal from the head of the set piece, and everyone's like, "Yeah, this gets clipped over Twitter," and that's what it is.
Tomoe. Yeah.
Right back.
Ooh.
Right back.
You know,
okay, sorry, you go ahead.
I feel like Wan-Bissaka has Calabria is in great form, but he hasn't. I don't think he's shown us that as long as Wan-Bissaka has. I don't know. What do you think? I think Wan-Bissaka maybe just edges Calabria.
Well, if it also goes down to fitness, Calabria is probably not even going to play this game.
Yeah,
so we don't even know if he's playing this game.
And and I think Wan-Bissaka has maybe one or two more dimensions to his game than Calabria. He adds more attributes than Calabria. Even though Calabria is great at defense and offense, I think I'd say Wan-Bissaka takes this one.
Fair enough. I mean, I was going to say Wan-Bissaka, to be honest, hasn't had the best. I think last season he was better, and I think you could argue that last season he was arguably the best, what I call defensive right back in the league. Like, no one could get past Wan-Bissaka's positional sense was really good. So you knew that if Wan-Bissaka was playing, that right side was secured. No one could go down that right side. Literally, teams would have to go down the left-hand side so you know how good he was. This season, he's been caught out quite a bit defensively. And his positional work has not really improved, but he's still been somewhat stable. It's just I don't think this season he's actually had as good a season last season. But we'll slot them in.
I just want to give a shout out to Calabria, though. Calabria is an excellent right back, and
very young,
and he has a bright future ahead.
Left back is going to be a thing because Luke Shaw has been he's arguably been our best player in the last 2 months, potentially 3 months, I would say. He's having a very good season. He's
but then there's Theo Hernandez, who has been creating highlight after highlight. But here's the thing. I think it comes down to defensive ability. Theo Hernandez has been producing highlight after highlight, but 90% of those highlights are on the offensive end. Theo Hernandez is so good that a lot of Milan fans would even like to see him as a winger at some point and maybe put someone else on left back, because he's made way too many defensive mistakes for him to be considered a true left back. So if you think Luke Shaw gives you a good defensive output, then Luke Shaw takes this battle. But if Luke Shaw is in the same boat where he's giving more on offense than defense, then we have a little argument on our hands.
I will go with Theo on this one because right now he is fit, and in my opinion, Theo is on his way to becoming one of the best fullbacks not in Europe but in the globe. So I'll go with Theo on this.
If he improves on his defensive ability, because he has work to do over there. He's great attacking. I believe he's one of the top 6 fastest players in Europe right now in terms of sprint speed. And this is a list where Mbappe is, I think, first or second, and so we're talking. Or maybe he's either 6th or 5th, the fastest player in Europe. So the attacking output is just tremendous.
And he has very heavy goals. He scores very
for Luke Shaw over Theo Hernandez.
Oops, sorry, 1 second. Sorry.
Anyway, I'll go with Theo.
So
it's on to you.
It's tough.
It comes to you. It comes to you, G. I'm stuck in between.
it's tough because especially when Ari talks about defensive capabilities, because Luke Shaw has always been solid defensively, and we've seen that against a lot of the top teams in not only in the Champions League when we were there, but also in the Premier League as well. Like, he played against PSG on the left hand, in the specific on the left hand side. No issues with Mbappe, no issues with Neymar. Even in the Premier League this season, same thing with likes of Salah, with I think it was against Sterling. He generally pockets. Mahrez, I think it was against City last time. No issues defensively. But the thing is, this season going forward, he has produced offensively. You know, he's produced assists, he's produced goals. Maybe not to a certain level as Theo, but you know, he's certainly been a lot more creative in our attacking, and it's a lot more obvious when he's not on the side. I.e., when we played you guys last time, he wasn't playing, certainly from the beginning, and you didn't see that creative spark come from Manchester United. And the overlap with him and Rashford is deadly. So, I mean, the way I sort of give it to you is because you kind of gave me Wan-Bissaka, so I'm kind of like so. And if we're the ties, so well, you know what, you know, so it's if you're giving me the right, if you'd had the right back, I'd have been like, nah, I've got to argue short to no end. Yeah. But if you're giving me Wan-Bissaka, I'm like, well, if it's a tie, then maybe I could give you guys Theo, maybe.
All right. Yes. All right. Well, this is Roy. We got 3 out of 4 defenders. This is reminiscent of the old Italian days, where the Italian defenses were feared across Europe, huh?
That was a lifetime ago.
That was a lifetime ago.
Just. Whoever says no, it's sure. So we've got 2. I think even the comments got 2 for Shaw and 2 for Theo. So it's split.
There's a bunch of people going for Theo, and so this was a tough one. This was the toughest one so far out of the 5 positions.
The 2 pivots for me is automatic. All right, sorry. Go ahead, G. Keep on.
Oh no, I was just going to say, just for the final point, just shows just how good both players have been this season, I think. So I think if you spoke to me last season, I probably wouldn't have said Luke Shaw at all. But you know, but the fact that he's going to have brought it up. But yes, the 2 holding.
It's very easy.
This one's easy. One of ours is a beast. One of yours is a tremendous beast. I think this is this one's easy. We'll say it together. Just we'll say let's give both the names. Roy, give us both the names. What do you think?
It's and Pogba.
Absolutely, no other choice. Even though Pogba, I know we're talking fitness under
I will say Pogba, even if he has only one leg.
Exactly. Messi and Pogba. This is making me think of what they would do on the same team. Man, that would be absolutely tremendous.
I really don't disagree. Yeah. It's literally when you said, I was like, oh, is this going to be a long debate about whether? But I was like, nah.
This one's just, you know, they're both too incredible.
Yeah, Pogba. In Italy, Pogba was amazing. He killed it in Italy.
So what's there was a lot of drama with Pogba. Is that drama out of the window now, or is it still lingering?
Oh dear.
And this was just like 10 match days ago or something, right? This was not too long ago.
It was so the main drama was in the last game of the Champions League before the game when Mino Raiola is basically the issue. Mino Raiola is the issue here. He obviously, Pogba doesn't actually say that much. It's his agent that just keeps on saying things over and over again. And I think that obviously caused problems at the club. Now, Ollie, to be fair, has always kept faith in Pogba and likes him, plays him. I think now it's on, he wants to obviously win trophies. He wants to do things. And I think now it's the question of like, is he going to be sold in the summer versus is he going to get a new contract? And the big issue with Pogba here is that, like, I'm sure he wants to leave, but the question is there a club that can afford him? And 2, is there a club that can afford his wages? Because Pogba is on high wages. I think he's getting 280, somewhere between 280 to 300k a week. So, which is a lot of money, and a lot of people don't emphasize this. So, if a team, if a club wants him, like a Madrid or Juventus or something, it's like, okay, fine, you pay a transfer fee, but he's not. It's not like he's going to actually take a pay cut unless he says he's going to take a pay cut. He's made an indication he's going to. So there's strong feeling in the. Sorry, go on.
How old is he?
He's 27, I think. 27, 28, I think.
Prime.
So
if he goes back to Juventus, it's just a seesaw.
Would you like to keep him in Manchester United?
Oh, I'd love to keep him at Manchester United. I'd love to keep him, and he certainly would be key to Manchester United going forward. I think the big issue is that he was promised, I think, top quality players around him, and I think that what I would say is that if Pogba does stay, it might be a sign that the board might be bringing in top players to support him, because I think there was rumors around the club that when we signed Bruno initially, that kind of Pogba it triggered Pogba to want a new contract, and then something bad happened behind the scenes where one of our chief directive Ed Woodward, I suspect, triggered Pogba's contract extension. You know, a 1-year contract extension without telling Pogba, which probably annoyed him, which is probably what led to the whole outburst in the first place. So I think that if he stays, it's because the board are going to be ambitious and bring in top players like maybe a Haaland or Sancho. I think if he leaves, I think the big thing will just be which club around Europe can afford him and his wages.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. In the number 10 position, it's Bruno.
So Hakan is the assist leader in the Serie A, but considering everything, considering fitness, considering consistency, we really can't. We would be unfair if we put Hakan over Bruno. It has to be Bruno.
Yeah, it's true. Absolutely.
He is. I mean,
Hakan
question to you guys. Do you think, so I see a lot of this on social media, Fernandes or penalty merchants, or he usually shows up in big games. Do you think he's overrated?
Well, so Milan and United currently are the top 2 teams with the most penalties in Europe. Not just the 5 leagues. I think if you consider the top 10 leagues, Milan and United have the most penalties. And Kessie and Bruno have been slotting them in. I don't believe all of that, man. Bruno is actually a tremendous guy. I think he's going to keep this up. This isn't a one-season wonder that's happening. I think you guys should keep him very close because if in the rare chance that you don't make the Champions League, people will be hunting him. There's going to be sharks all around for Bruno.
Yeah.
Right. Moving on to, we'll start with the right wing. So maybe that might be more straightforward. Who'd you got? What say you
who
guys?
are our options for the right wing? Milan has very
our right wing. Milan's right wing is Milan's weakest part. So I don't even want to give you. I don't even want to give you a candidate over here. Just write whatever you want. Milan's right wing is literally.
So even if I put Daniel James on this right wing, that's fine because he's fit. He's available.
It is fine. Even the short Daniel James will do better. Literally, if you ask any Milan player, what's the one position you want reinstated, reinforced, they'll say right wing, flat out. They won't even wait to think about it. The right wing has been a tremendous problem for us throughout the season. So I can't even put a candidate forth, if I'm to be fair.
Well, shout out to Half Hope in the comments, by the way. Sorry, I'm just giving a shout out to Half Hope. Thank you for tuning in, buddy. Appreciate it. Sorry, go on, Roy.
I have a very similar answer to Ari's. Our right wing is definitely the weak spot. Salamakers is very young. He's very young. This is his first season playing top flight football at this level. And Castillejo is one of those very good Spanish players, but just not good enough to make it to the national team because he has so many players in front of him. It's hard. I would probably give the edge to Manchester United here.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? Almost as a bridge of both Serie A and Premier League, and because I think that this is the only player who I deem as an actual right winger, I'm going to put Ahmad here.
Okay.
Ahmad here, actually.
I'm doing that.
So,
That's fair, but here's the thing, though. I don't really feel too good about that because he's from Atalanta, and Milan and Atalanta don't really have a very good relationship. That's one of the clubs. I mean, I like the boy, but that's one of the clubs, and their manager specifically is very much hated by Milan fans. Milan, because it's Gasperini. He basically, I mean, they've had complete shit shows against teams, and for some reason they perform every time versus Milan. That's been happening for the past 3 or 4 performances, and then they had one game last season where they beat us 5-0, and when you're 5-0 up, you're really trying to you should really be a respectful manager. And what he did on the 5th goal was, he was, as a manager, he was dancing on the sidelines. And I'm not kidding I'm not saying, it was movement. He was literally dancing on, and that pissed me off more than anything has pissed me off in football recently. You don't dance on my Milan. So that's why you can actually take someone better, more capable for that right wing spot, because if you're trying to give me this just because of the Serie United, it's Atalanta, and I really don't respect Atalanta. Maybe Roy has a different opinion on this.
No, I respect Atalanta a lot. They're the only team that are showing to be able to play European football in Italy, so in the Champions League. And
right,
I think
we'll take him, I guess.
I think Gasperini is doing an excellent job. I
He's
think it's a little bit.
Job. I just don't like the character of the guy.
I think it's a little bit unfair to put Amad Diallo, this youngster, in front of Salamakers or Castillo. But again, I'm okay with it.
I mean, I think it's just because first and foremost, I think Daniel James is technically a left winger, and Greenwood, I more of an inside forward as a number 9, whereas Ahmad is actually a right winger. So that's the first reason. So from a official point, even though obviously he's just coming as a youngster, but the second thing is just a decision making. Like Daniel James' decision making and Greenwood's decision making is not that great. I think at a stretch, I probably would put Greenwood there just because Greenwood's if you're gonna play him as a right winger to then come inside as an inside forward, his decision making in the box and his finishing ability is good. Inside the box, his decision making is fine. Outside, trying to pick a pass, trying to maybe supply it to like a Zlatan or a Cavani, it's not that great. So I guess based on that, I put Greenwood there, but it's there.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
Greenwood.
All right.
Oh, by the way, were you going to say them?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Yeah.
Greenwood, yeah.
I think we've got a few Greenwoods here in the chat as well. And see, this is the problem. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to go back on this because I know that you guys are probably going to put Rebic on the left, aren't you?
Well, Rebic or Leao. We have those two coming in for that spot as our arguments. But then your left flank is pretty fucking...
I don't know. I don't know if I would put anybody in front of Rashford.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? I'm putting Rebic and Leao up front.
Yeah, I think you're taking this whole line. It's all.
I think you're taking the midfield, man. I feel bad, but you're taking this. It's fair if you you take the midfield.
As balance, I guess what I could say is that Rashford did play for quite some time on the right wing in the Premier League. So there is.
You know what I would do for balance. You know what I would do for balance. You still take the midfield, but you take Bailly out and put Kier in because he is one solid defender.
Kier is not.
What?
Kier is not fit.
Oh, that's true. He's ever.
I think G is onto something. Let's put Rashford on the right and Rebic on the left.
You know that, because Rashford can play both wings, right?
He can play both wings.
He would do that. He would do that. All right, that's fair. That's fair.
But
Rebic,
I'll be honest. I would have all that line Manu.
me too. If this was FIFA and my record was on the line, I would take the United wingers.
Let me count the players first. Actually, wait, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll put. So it's actually going to be going down to maybe the last one. So okay.
So let's put the Rebic and Rashford in, and then we battle it out for the loan.
Well,
6. This is number 6.
There we go. Right.
Hey man, who you got? Who can contest Zlatan Ibrahimovic for this position? Who you got?
I mean, it's the only two. Well, because I don't think Martial is fit available, so really it's going to be obviously Greenwood, who can also play number 9, and Cavani.
Cavani and Zlatan have been pretty much the same in terms of fitness. They've been in and out. Right? They're both coming back, so we can have fair comparison there. Since they're both coming back.
Yeah.
So it's Cavani versus Zlatan Ibrahimovic. This is a tough one.
Because Cavani, and the thing is, I'm biased as a United fan, but I appreciate him much more in that. And obviously, I saw Zlatan in Manchester. He played for Manchester United, and obviously Cavani. So I obviously love Zlatan. I love the confidence that he brings. I think he's definitely captain material, and his technique, his ability in the box, I think is second to none. And as you said, the 1-2s, bringing people to play, I think is good as well. But I think maybe because Cavani is slightly younger, I do think you do get a bit more from Cavani.
You get more running. You do get more running. But on his day, if Zlatan's fit, though, Zlatan will give you an addition to the high press. We've seen him in the 94th minute pressing the midfield. Have we not, Roy? At 39 years of age.
Yeah. Well, look, I agree with you about Cavani. Cavani is a world-class player, and the fact that he literally plays the whole field, and he will play as a central defender one moment, the next moment he's right there on the last line of the offense. If right now they're both very similar in fitness, I would have to go with Ibra, because Ibra maybe just has a little bit more technique. But I got to be honest with you. I know that if we get Ibra in there is a 6-5 for Milan. That is not real.
Yeah,
that is not real.
That's because he gave us Rebic. Like that 3-man midfield. That 3-man midfield is really.
I could take him back if he won. I could take him back. I could put.
I think it would be really fair. It would be really fair. You take Rebic back. You put Rashford in there. You take those 3 midfielders and you put Ibra in the up front. Is what my.
This is coming from your guys. That's your guys coming from your guys' mouth. So okay, we'll put Rashford here.
Yes, sir.
And then we will put. So I said I'll put Greenwood here then.
Mr. Zlatan.
Yes. Okay. Because Zlatan or the Gods or Ryan
Zlatan could be in bad form, or Cavani could be in really good form, but just the aura of Zlatan Ibrahimovic makes it hard to a 39-year-old Zlatan who's doing wonders, who's literally defying physics. Because you and I both know when someone goes to the MLS, they go for one reason or only. They go to end their career on a high where they can make a bunch of money in the MLS with marketing. That's it. Everyone's career is ending in the MLS. This is the first guy ever who's proven to come back and still be crucial, and that at 39 years of age, this is literally defying physics. The name that you put basically, it signifies pretty much our whole argument. He's just too big, out of this world of a personality to not. For this I
gotta say one thing, just want to add one more thing, and obviously this is a speculation, a hypothetical. When Ibra came into AC Milan, Ibra really changed the team. He changed the mentality of everybody in the team. I don't think Cavani would be able to do that.
And Ibra did the same for United as well.
Yeah,
That's a hypothetical.
And to be honest, that was what I was. That's kind of in my mind what solidified it to me, because Ibra is a leader, Ibra is a captain, and it's no coincidence that we won our only 2 trophies with Mourinho in that season. We won the Europa League, I think, with Ibra in it, and we won a League Cup with Ibra in it when he was there as part of that squad, because he does give you that leadership, that confidence, and you could see the young players. Even Pogba, I think,
Yep.
I was at the time, like, look at this guy, supports his teammates, players, defends them in public, but shows what was on the pitch, So, Ibra's going to be the captain of this team, So I think even Bruno would probably defer to Ibrahimovic, So he would defer to Ibrahimovic. So, yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah,
I think this team is definitely making the Champions League late stages of the Champions League.
Right. Let's. I enjoyed that, actually. That was a really good combine. I didn't think it was last long, but that was actually really, really good. So just to wrap things up, obviously score predictions. How do you guys see this game going? Score wise, Milan through, United through. What are your thoughts?
2-2. We respectfully bow out of the Europa League.
Oh wow. That all the Milan.
I need this top 4, man, and we're putting this top 4 in jeopardy with our recent performances. 2-2, bow out on away goals.
My heart says 2-1 for AC Milan. My brain says Manchester United could win easily,
especially with these guys back and that pace that's being added to United.
Yeah.
This is tough, because my heart says that United have got this easy, that we should be fine. My head says that previous European experiences have shown that United brick it at times, and obviously the performance in the previous game, I bet certain players weren't playing, gives me reservations, especially depending on who Ole Gunnar Solskjaer picks. What I would say about Manchester United is that regardless, Manchester United always do score. So even in the games that we've lost, like, we will always score. So I would find it very unlikely, unless Milan take a very strong defensive approach. And I think that in itself might be problematic if you're going to have likes of Pogba, maybe even Van der Beek, maybe making a cameo and Fernandes to come on. So I don't anticipate that Milan are going to be very, very compact and
both our centre backs, 2 of our 3 starting centre backs are out. So there's that too.
Hazem says 2-1 to United. 2-1 United. Congrats. And Damon says 2-2. Or Abdullahi says 2-2. So pretty much everyone saying United win. Or go through anyway.
I have a question, G, if you don't mind me.
Yeah, go for it.
What are the motivations for United to go through? Well, actually, you know what? Well, yeah, go ahead. I'm going to ask. You're going to be with us tomorrow, correct, G?
Yes, I am. Yes, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you today and tomorrow. What are the motivations for Manchester United to go through? What do you think?
I think the big thing is a trophy. I think for Solskjaer and for this team, because whatever, I'm trying to be fair as a United fan, because the United fans are quite divided right now. Ole out are still raving on. People don't think it's good enough. People think we should give him time, board, etc. And so the motivation is a trophy. The motivation is to have something to say, listen, this is the evidence of progression. This is the evidence that I'm doing something, So, and whatever you say, we didn't really have a great transfer window, to be honest. And yet somehow United find themselves second place in the Premier League in two competitions. I think it certifies Solskjaer as a manager and justifies his contract extension. And it really kind of, maybe you could say, trolls some of our rivals like Spurs and Arsenal and Chelsea and Liverpool, etc., who maybe had more hype around the beginning of seasons, and actually their seasons have been absolutely awful, with the exception of Manchester City. So really it's just to have something to show, evidence to show progress, because without a trophy, people will just say, well, yeah, okay, you finished second. Yeah, okay, you're playing better. But, you know, is he really going to win anything? Is Solskjaer good enough?
Okay. All right. Yeah. I have some nice questions for you tomorrow regarding this topic.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. That'd be good. Be good. Right, guys, thank you so much for everyone tuning in. Whoa, over 1 hour 15. Really appreciate everyone that got involved in the comments and obviously liking the video. And guys, Ari, Roy, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to be live on their channel tomorrow around a similar sort of time, if that's correct.
Yes, very similar.
So stay tuned for that as well. The link is in the description. Please go and subscribe to the channel, guys. A lot of good AC Milan quality content. Support those guys. Support them. Head over and stay tuned for our another match preview tomorrow again as well.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Milan and glory, Manchester United.
Shout out.
We're both the only red teams of our cities.
There you go. See, and screw the blue teams. Screw the blue teams of our cities. Screw the blue teams. Even though those blue teams are probably going to win their respective.
It looks like it. It looks like
it. Thank you for having us, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Much
See you guys.
Thank you.